All right, this lady goes, I'm 47 and live with my parents. Rethinking housing in the 2020s. Classic. All right, buckle up. We've got a rich one today. This is something that I think is going to become more and more normal. But before we start with her, I want to go back to this lady who's basically talking about her son who's 28 and still lives at home. And there's this weird stigma about it. It's kind of strange where it's like, the kid, the 28-year-old, you're like, you could feel like a loser living with your parents at 28. But then the parents can feel like a little bit of like this odd shame where like they're also kind of feeling bad about it. It's this weird stigma. Anyways, we're going to get deep though. Hopefully we have a little fun. Might get a little depressing, but we'll find out.
So our 28-year-old son lives with us. And I still consider us empty nesters because he lives his own life. He has a full-time job. He, pays bills. He actually pays us rent to live here. He doesn't pay much, but we do have him pay a little something because it's just a good, responsible thing for him to do. But I see a lot of posts on here, of people saying their parents, once they turned 18, just kicked them out, and we're like, you can't live here anymore. Not giving their kid any chance to move back in, get back on their feet, or anything like that. And we could just never do that. That's not how we are. Number one, my 28-year-old, he is bipolar. It's controlled. He's on medication, and it is under control. But it is actually kind of nice having.
All right, bipolar aside, I do agree. I was raised with parents where if shit hit the fan, room's open. We can't pay for your bills. Here's something too, right? Before we get back to the bipolar and all that shit. There's a lot of people out here who have had a lot of help from their parents. I'm one of them, right? Maybe not just here's all the money in the world or here we're going to pay your bills. But, I had a head start in life where, I got a car when I was 16. I had job opportunities, not the best. They weren't rich, but, when you know people, it's a little easier to get ahead. Or if I fell on hard times, I can move back in with my mom. Okay? Or vice versa. I had my dad come and live with me. But there is this weird thing where I never really quite understood the, if you live at home with your parents, or God forbid your parents live with you, that, you're a loser of some sort. It's this weird thing, and I think it's going to be a little bit more understandable as things get a little more intense. But there are people out here you would never know, but their parents pay for their car, pay for their phone. It looks like they just bought a house. Parents co-signed it, gave them a down payment. I was fucking bartending with a chick. She's looking at $700,000 homes. I'm like, dude, we make the same kind of money. She's like, oh, no, my parents got it. And she was open about that. But imagine how many people, they're not open about that. They're not just going to outwardly go, yeah, my parents, I have this car. My parents bought me this nice ass car. This house that I live in with my partner, parents. This is the modern person. The only way you could really help is to just go move home. That's it. Which I get. Anyways, something I was thinking about.
Having him live here because when he does struggle, we know. And so we are here for him. But beyond that, our kids, when they graduated high school, went off to college. They were off on their own for a while in college. They both have moved in and out at different times. Obviously, our oldest son is now married and has a kid and all that. So, hopefully he won't have to move back in. But, we're always.
She kind of laughed right there because that's a real thing. There are people out there right now with a kid or two in their 30s or 40s having to live at the parents' house. That's a real fucking thing. And I don't look at it as necessarily a bad thing. For instance, I don't want to get depressing, but I wish I had parents. Both my parents are passed away. My dad lived with me for years. I wish I could even have the thought of that, So anyways, I'm not going to cry, but whenever I do have a kid, especially with the way things are, it's kind of like, yeah, live here forever. I mean, go eat some shit, figure it out, but you always have a place is kind of my motto.
Our home is always open to our kids. Like if they ever need to have a place to go or to stay, they know that they're always welcome to stay here. And my youngest has now lived with us for almost 2 years. I guess it's been 2 years, maybe this month. And so we are working on a plan, for him to get out on his own, but we're not like pushing him out. We're just talking about it.
Yeah, in other words, she's working on a plan going, you need to make a lot of money. A lot of money. Or marry a chick whose parents are just going to set you up for success, baby. That's a real thing, too. Right here. And then we're going to go to the 47-year-old living with their parents. Just something that I kind of see being, this is going to become more and more normal. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's actually probably smart. God forbid you're a parent who needs to end up living with your kid. It's happened to me. Like if my dad didn't have me, he would have been fucked. Like straight up just homeless, Because this one goes, who kicks their kid out at 18 years old? They're still kids. Yeah, nowadays 18 is like you're a guppy, dude. If I have a home, they have a home. Wait, parents who kick their kids out simply because they're 18 are very strange to me. Yeah, I think that's a very old mindset, though. The economy is not good. Generational living needs to be okay because it is. Yeah, in other countries, it's totally normal. It's like a regular thing. And some people are going to be like, that's a cop-out, dude. Just work harder. It's like, okay, dude. Like, sure. But anyways, I like what this lady had to say. I'm going to leave the link to her video down below. She kind of is all over the place. But I fast-forwarded to the part that really kind of resonated with me the most.
But basically, there was someone very special in my life that I'd been hoping to one day buy a home and settle down with. But he died. So, yeah, I might talk about that another time. But that kind of loss really put things into perspective. So the reasons for buying a house with my parents aren't just financial. It's also about enjoying the years we have left together, especially as I'd lived so far away for so long. It's like we're catching up now. So around the time of the pandemic, when everything was going a bit pear-shaped, including myself, at that point, my parents were living in this teeny-weeny tiny retirement bungalow, which was a shared ownership scheme. So you own half the property and you pay rent on the other half of the property. And they'd been hoping to move somewhere a little bit bigger, a little bit quieter, more peaceful.
And I'm going to leave the link down below. But the point of that is she's right. Like, how many people move to another part of the world, another state, another country, never see their parents, like ever. Like they're gonna die. Like everyone, like we're gonna have that moment. And I hate to keep saying that, but I just had lost both my parents in the last 5 years, and it's fucking difficult, man. And I'm glad that I did let my dad live with me, and I'm glad that I did when my mom fell on hard times. I'm glad me and my dad moved in with her. That was the only way I could help pay the bills. I couldn't pay for both people. So I got to, because my parents split up when I was like 18, 19. So, at 30 years old, I'm like, got my parents in the same house again. And my mom passed away shortly after that. But, it was nice to have that again. It really was. And also, they needed me. And you know what? I needed them. I really did. And I don't care what anybody says. It sucks being alone. And if your parents aren't willing to, when you don't have that support, it goes both ways. Think about it right now. You're 40 years old. You got a kid. You got a wife. You're going to honestly tell me that if your dad or mother said, hey, I need to move in with you, you're going to tell them no? Or now think about the other way. Imagine if you needed their help. It's kind of like it's gotten to the point where it's necessary. It's kind of fucked. Not everybody. Some people are fucking rich. They got it. Work harder, bro. They got it like that. And that's cool. I'm stoked for you. This person goes, I'm 50, moved back in with my parents. My father passed away recently. I am grateful that I could be here for my mother. See, this living arrangement is coming faster than people realize in the West. Yeah, this is going to become just normal. Like, if you live on your own, like, be the, like the guys that are like, be the provider for the wife. Dude, just living on your own, yet alone, like, having a chick that doesn't have to work. Like, these things, a lot of this old school mentality stuff is just kind of going way out the window. I am 47 and homeless. I have lost both my parents from cancer. Jesus Christ. Be grateful to be with your parents in your home. Yeah, I totally agree, man, because I think back and you don't think you're going to lose your parents, especially early. I'm 35. Both of them they're gone. Mom at 30, dad just passed recently. Done. And, you think you got forever, and I'm not even just talking financially. My dad didn't have any money. He used to. He fucked it up. Drugs and alcohol will do that to people. But it's not even that. It's like somebody to call, to talk to, and go, Mom, go, Dad, Mommy. You know what I mean? Like, just having that. Sometimes I feel we take it for granted because I hear people, dude, I have some friends where it's almost like they don't even appreciate their parents. Especially, it's like, my parents were so strict. I'm like, yeah, dude, but you got a house to go to anytime you want. They fucking love you. You give you money if you need it. Like, what are you talking about? I guess it's just perspective. But anyways, I'm 50, and the majority of your story is the same as mine. Crappy degree, working years in London. Okay, we're going to skip that one. The fact that you still have your parents at 47 is what matters most. Yeah, 1,000%. Like, I thought I'd have my parents till that age, Here in Japan, living with and caring for parents is pretty normal. Yep. Our son is mid-40s, moved back in with us due to some difficulties he was having. Sadly, soonly after I lost my husband, my son stayed on. His presence is something that I thank the Lord for daily. We share the bills. He does heavy jobs for me. Plus, he is good company and makes me laugh. We do not live in each other's pockets, but I have never lived alone, and the thought of it alarms me. This works well. I wish society would accept this enormous positives of this situations. I can't read today. This font is so small. Yeah, I think it's going to become more and more normal. I'm going to leave the links to both of these people down below. I wonder how many people were kind of roasting this woman for. A lot of people seem to agree with this lady and her 27-year-old kid. This economy sucks. Moving back into my parents this year at 27. Long as he works, it shouldn't be an issue. How can a kid afford to buy a house these days? Rent is expensive too. It's out of hand. You're doing the right thing all around. I was freshly 18, no car, no credit, kicked out with just a bag full of my clothes. What the fuck, dude? My kids will forever have a home with me, no matter what. That is nuts. This is normal in other countries. LOL. Yeah, I'll leave the links down below to that, but it's just something that I think's funny. A couple, like one of my friends. He's just under 30. He moved back home so he could start a new career, and he feels like, he feels that pressure to want to move to want to move out, or like feel like you're a loser. It's like it's just kind of funny, not everybody has the same timeline or the same amount of help from other people. Or maybe we're just all a bunch of pussies and we just got to do more work. It's the classic tale. So, anyways, you guys leave your thoughts. Not to get depressing in that, but your boy's going through it. Good talk.